All right, in this video, we're going to go over how you can get 3x limit on your Amex card. This applies to certain Amex cards, not the charge cards. So we're going to go over which ones and how exactly you can capitalize on this and what you're able to do with it afterwards. Before we really dive into this, we need to go over a couple of things and really stress the importance of why you should be getting higher limits on these credit cards. These are things that you can do to grow your business, make large purchases, and the really big thing that this is going to help you do is bring down the utilization on your credit report, which is going to help you keep a much higher credit score. So let's go over this and show you exactly how important the utilization is on your credit report. So here's what the factors are that go into what makes up your credit report. As you can see, the lowest is the number of inquiries. But if you look, the second highest thing other than your payment history, which is something you really want to stay on top of, making your payments on time is very important. The second is the level of credit utilization. That means if you have $30,000 in credit and you're using $15,000 of that limit, that means you have a 50% credit utilization, which is not what you want. That is not ideal. We want to try to keep that utilization at least under 30%. That is the very, very maximum you want to go. We really recommend that you keep it under 10%. So by increasing the credit limits on the cards you already have or adding new credit cards with new limits, you keep that utilization low, which allows you to use more of your available credit and still keep the actual credit score higher than you would if you were using a lot of your credit and you only had that $30,000 limit. So now that we've gone over the utilization, let's talk about what cards this does apply to and what cards this does not apply to. The cards that this is going to apply to will be cards like the Amex Hilton Honors, the Delta Sky, the Marriott Bonvoy cards. Any of those Hilton, Delta, and Marriott cards are going to be those co-branded Amex cards that one are going to get high limits in the beginning most of the time. And this is where this is going to apply. The cards that you're not going to be able to use this on are the charge cards. For instance, the Amex Gold and the Amex Platinum. Those cards don't have a preset spending limit, so they really don't have a credit limit. You spend and then you pay it off. You spend and you pay it off. If you do use those cards, you can make very large purchases, but I do not recommend carrying a balance. Those types of cards are going to give you a carry balance available. And whenever you utilize that, you want to carry that for 30 days. You're going to end up paying a lot of interest on that. So I don't recommend carrying a balance. Use the charge card, pay it off, get into the habit of paying it weekly, paying it every other week, at bare minimum, paying it at the end of the month when you get your statement balance. All right. So we've covered the cards you can do this with and the cards you can't. So now the part you've been waiting for. How do you do this and why does it work? The reason you can do this is because Amex has what's called a 61-6 rule. That means at 61 days and 6 months, you are able to get this credit increase. Now the trick is to ask for 3x the limit. So if you got a $4,000 limit in the beginning, you're going to ask for a $12,000 limit. So we're going to go over exactly where you find this in the portal and how to go about this. All right. So what you're going to do is log into your Amex portal. We're assuming that you opened a new card recently, right? You're going to go over to account services and the page will look like this. You want to go to where it says request limit increase. From there, it'll bring up another screen that looks like this. May vary depending on what browser you're using, if you're using an app versus the actual website, and you're going to see your limit on this card. It's going to ask you what the new limit is that you want. You're going to put in 3x. So like the scenario I mentioned before, if you got a $4,000 limit to start with, you're going to ask for a $12,000 limit. Now, most of the time, this is instantaneous. They don't ask for any more documentation. They don't ask you to verify your income. One of the things is to make sure that you have updated your income before you did this. Also, keep in mind, in that box, it is household income. So you can put you and anybody else that's in that house, not just what you make. It's household income. Once you've done that, you'll hit submit and you should get your 3x limit on your credit card. Now, I want to touch on a couple more things. One, why this is important. We went over the utilization. Another big thing is if you have a business or you're trying to do, a bunch of things, large purchases, this is really going to help you out. One of the big things you can do with American Express is say you have business accounts and you have personal accounts. You can take all of that credit from all of your different cards and you can put it onto one card. So if you build up the right type of credit first, and then let's say you go apply for one of the blue cards and it has a 0% interest for, let's say 6, 12, 18 months. Well, let's say they only give you a $2,000 limit on that card. Yes, you're still going to be able to try for the 3x limit increase. But if you've accumulated, say, $50,000 to $100,000 in Amex credit, you can then take that $100,000 limit, put it on the 0% interest card, and then use your imagination. What could you do with it? You could buy rental properties. You could buy products for resale. You could do a lot of different things with that, and it's going to cost you zero interest. So you now have access to $100,000 and 0% interest funding for your business or personally. Personally, what I like to do is those types of scenarios, if I have access to the 50 or the 100,000 on a 0% interest card, I'll take all of that money off, and you can do this legally. A lot of these cards have balance transfers. So you can actually take that limit off the card, deposit it into your checking account, and then use it for what you want to. So let's say you have 18 months. You have 18 months and you have access to $100,000. You could take that money and buy real estate with it, which we could go into a whole nother video, which I will be posting later on how to buy real estate with credit cards, how to buy real estate with zero money. Bunches of scenarios that we have here. And then you go buy that real estate. Let's say it's cash flowing $200, $300, $400, $500 a month, even more. You take that, you pay it back, you continue to do it, and then you cash out, refi that property, pay off the money on that credit card. And now you've got a property that cost you nothing. Somebody else's money that now got you a property that's going to cash flow for the lifetime that you own it. So these are just a few of the things that you can do with credit. And this is one hack that American Express has. So go out there, give it a try. Let me know in the comments if this worked for you or if you have any issues with this. I do reply to the comments, so just drop me a comment. I will respond to you and help you as best I can. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. We've got a lot more content coming and a lot of hacks that you will not hear from other creators that are going to help you get access to a lot of credit, be a better entrepreneur, and utilize the tools that you may not know you have.